Growing up, I had a great family. My parents divorced when I was 7 years old. My dad moved out to Winnipeg, and I think that for me was a big shifting point. I really loved my dad, and afterwards, I really felt, as a lot of young kids do, like, was it my fault? Feeling like it's me who's not worth it. My dad worked really hard to get back in my life. He was around a lot and built that bridge again. But growing up, I had a big approval addiction where I really wanted approval from people. That's kind of where it led me to just start saying yes to things, right? So, when marijuana is being offered, it's a yes. When, smoking cigarettes is being offered, it's a yes. Drinking, yes. Once those things started getting introduced, my desires kind of shifted, and it seemed like my purposes were really just to live for the weekend and get to the party. Coming out of high school, I helped move one of my friends out to Alberta, and that's when I was first introduced to cocaine. We're just having fun, we're just trying things out, experimenting, and it starts with, slowly, right? Once a month type of thing, and next thing you know, it's every other weekend. It seems to escalate quicker than you can even keep up with or that you're even aware of. You end up relying on this to bring you joy and bring you satisfaction. Definitely led me to a place of brokenness and hopelessness. I kind of became very numb to the feelings of people around me, and it was really evident in my family, especially when my family members started to know that I was using hard drugs as well. When that came to light, it was really two routes for me. It was double down and harden my heart and continue on, or really accept the fact that I have a problem and seek help. Since I was like a functioning addict, it was easy for me to justify. I kind of just doubled down, and which made me even more numb to the people around me and to their feelings. So throughout that, I felt really hopeless, especially when it got to the place where I started to try to actually quit and get clean. And that's when things started to really take a bad turn and show me that there was a deeper struggle than I thought was there. I kept relapsing. It'd be like 1 month clean, relapse, maybe 3 months clean, relapse. It probably was like a dozen different times of getting clean. The longest I was clean, I had like a year under my belt, and then again back in. And that's when I really felt like there was no way out of this. My rock bottom led me to a place of, being hospitalized a couple times. You've got your mom taking hospital, you're there all night, and she's sitting in the waiting room. I remember telling her the next day, like, there's no way I'll ever use drugs again. And then to go back to using drugs within like a month, that's like, okay, I need some help. And that started with these weekly Ready Now recovery groups. I thought maybe if I just did these once a week groups, that would be enough for me. And it was through that I really started to get maybe a spark of hope. And after doing that for a few weeks, I once again kind of walked away from it and fell back into my addiction. But that was the foot in the door. And after another spree of addiction, I really felt that final call. It's like, it's time. I had been up all night drinking and using various amounts of drugs, and I had tried to drive to Winnipeg where I was living, which was about an hour and a half drive, in a bad state. As I was driving, I was seeing all these families. You can tell they're going to church because it's that time where people are going to church Sunday morning, and I haven't even gone to bed yet. And I suddenly felt like, wow, like I can't believe I'm like driving and risking people's lives. I started crying like I've never cried before. And I pulled over on the side of the road, scrolling through my contacts, who can help me? And then at the bottom of my contacts, in all capital letters, it said Lifeline. I gave it a call, and it was one of the guys from Ready Now Recovery. I must have put his number in there and called it Lifeline and not his actual name. Then I ended up in Adult and Teen Challenge, not even a couple months later. Once I got to Adult and Teen Challenge, man, it was a scary thing going in there. You don't know what to expect. But as soon as I walked in the front door, I felt nothing but love and approval. I can't explain like that just blissful, serene feeling of comfort to be around people who had known what I've been going through and were able to relate to me, especially in that area. What the program offered me was a faith-based program. This God who loves me despite all my failures. That's what was really the game changer for me. Besides that as well, it was the fact that it was a long-term program, right? It was like a year minimum, and I needed a long time away from the world. I was like surprised at how like rigorous it was. It was definitely a shock, but I didn't realize I needed that. It gave me this structure where I could serve other people and look out for their interest and not just my own. We had, 40-hour work weeks. We were doing educational studies, right? So I got to recover and heal while being able to live in a way that would replicate what it's like to be in the real world as well. I was only like 2 months into this program, and I had this calling and fire in my heart to serve other people and be a part of Adult and Teen Challenge, joining up with the Emerging Leaders program and getting hired on as a full-time staff member. And now that's where I am today, still serving as a full-time staff member and being able to help other students who are now coming in the program. That's the big shifter, right? Because I was super numb in my addiction to other people's feelings, but now like I'm interested in what other people are going through and I want to help. And my relationships with my family have gotten so close and there's been so much reconciliation. It's not something I thought could happen. I know it can be really tough when you're in your addiction for people that are kind of looking towards seeking help and looking for healing from their wounds. There's pain in it, right? There's growing pains in seeking change, but there's a way deeper pain in staying the same. And there's hope within reach for anybody who feels like there's no way out. In the darkest of places, there's a light. So there's hope, there's a light. Hope and light have a name, and that name's Jesus. And I would implore anyone to reach out and grasp onto that.